Tingemas. 7 teachers teaching, 6 rhyming couplets, 5 war poems, 4 highlighters, 3 post-it notes, 2 mock exams, and a poetry anthology. Hello and welcome back once again to Tinged as Literature. Today is in fact the 7th day of Tingemas, where I'm going to be going over Storm on the Island. Now if you're new here, Tingemas is actually the series where I go over the 15 power and conflict poems in the run up to Christmas. Now let's read through the poem. We are prepared. We build our houses squat, sink walls in rock and roof them with good slate. The wizened earth has never troubled us with hay, so as you can see there are no stacks or stooks that can be lost, nor are there trees which might prove company when it blows full blast. You know what I mean. Leaves and branches can raise a chorus in the gale, so that you can listen to the thing you fear forgetting that it pummels your house too. But there are no trees, no natural shelter. You might think that the sea is company, exploding comfortably down to the cliffs, but no, when it begins the flung spray hits the very windows, spits like a tame cat turned savage. We just sit tight while the wind drives and strafes invisibly. Space is a salvo, we are bombarded by the empty air. Strange, it's a huge nothing that we fear. Now let's analyse some key parts of the poem. We build our houses squat is very rough and rural language which gives the speaker a more agricultural tone. The poet describes Earth as an old friend and personifies it almost like a wrinkled man, and so you can see is an ironic tone that no trees means no danger of any trees actually falling, which might prove company shows the poet semantically linked nature to almost being a neighbour of the people on the island. You know what I mean creates a very personal and conversational tone, and can raise a chorus suggests the weather is personified and almost that it's singing. The word you in the phrase so that you can listen to the things you fear directly addresses the reader and creates fear and friendly intimacy with the speaker. Forgetting that it pummels is violent language which suggests the power of the weather is dominant over man. The oxymoron exploding comfortably is quite violent and contrasting with comfortably. The poet is suggesting that because the violence is so far away, the people on the island feel more secure. Now the simile spits like a tame cat uses a very familiar image to describe something that's as powerful and majestic as the cat, and undermines the strength and the weather, suggesting that it's only scary if we choose to let it be. Space as a salvo is a military metaphor that draws comparisons with the wind in human aircraft, suggesting that they're only what we make them. And finally, the phrase, it's a huge nothing that we fear, is an oxymoron with which the poet suggests that our fear is a paradox, and that there's nothing to fear or that we fear the nothingness of the invisible wind. Now let's take a look at the theme of the poem. This poem looks at the conflict between nature and man and people's fear of the weather. However, the poet also points out that the fears are really rather small in the grand scheme of things. There's also a hint of war and conflict in the way that the weather is described, with words such as bombardment and salvo. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be bringing you Tingemas Day 8 tomorrow. And don't forget you can watch back through all 7 Tingemas episodes, so you can recap on poems you may not have a full understanding of yet.